So this year I finally turned 50. But as most new 50-year-olds will tell you, I don't feel it. I feel 10 or 15 years younger. Now that may be because I'm happy, or I've got a busy and fulfilling life. It may be because I associate 50 with my parents, and obviously I'm not as old as them. But whatever the reason, and however young I feel, I had to remind myself of my age. Because if I'm lucky to live to 80, I am 2/3 of the way through my life. So I have to make these years count. I have literally a third of my life left to do all the things I plan to do. And I plan to do a lot. So it made me think, can I use my past experiences and my growth mindset to prepare me for the rest of my life? And can I live with all the noise and distractions around me to achieve my goals and lead an excellent life? So here's my strategy, how to maximize the remainder of your life to achieve all your goals and do more. And I will use my decades of experience, failures, and achievements to put together that strategy and use it. Now I'm going to take you through all the steps I considered to make sure this is a solid strategy. But first of all, we need a starting point, and that will be our chapter 1. Now, if you asked me 3 years ago what it means to be successful, I'd show you my big house, my vehicles, my collection of things, and my huge salary. I was a consumer through and through, enjoying my heart's desire at the click of a finger. I was just like 70% of the US population, living paycheck to paycheck as I spent all my money on living a fantasy life. But like so many, all that changed when the pandemic struck 4 years ago. Being forced to stop life dead in its tracks gave me an opportunity to look back and reflect on where we were coming from and where we wanted to go. So from that awful situation in all of our lives, we took time and took stock to make some changes. Now these were big changes, and I'm going to take you through these a bit later on. But these changes came about when I realized success for me was how I spent my time all of the time. Now, not just a half day at the weekend. I want to spend my 7 days a week on exactly how I wanted to. You see, I had all the things and all the trappings I ever wanted. Everything I desired I could get with the touch of a credit card. And I wanted a lot. But that success took my time. Worse still, it took my time away from my family. I simply could not take any time off. I had to miss family trips and my kids' events. And I'm embarrassed to say, I traveled back from vacation once or twice early to get back to work. And yes, I left my family on vacation. I was a prisoner to my success, and I accepted it as normal. The thing is, it wasn't success. It was prison, and I was a prisoner. Being forced to take off time during the pandemic really made me reflect and think about my choices and my path. And it was complete control of my time that I truly wanted, to do as I please when I wanted to do it. And critically, I no longer wanted to work for money. I wanted to work for assets, because assets can give you your time back. Earning money is usually a one-time deal. You get paid a unit of money for a unit of your time. But an asset can pay you over and over again, like a royalty, after doing the work once. Now, I'm not interested in a flash new car, a big house, or a grand vacation, but complete control of my time without the stresses of life expenses. Now, that would be a great measure for success. Now, for others, the measure for success can be all those things and more. It could be a legacy that you pass down to your family. But if you want to maximize your potential and lead an excellent life, you need to give some serious thought on what success looks like for you. And it's the critical starting point that demands honesty and conversation. Learn to say yes, learn to say no. How many times do you agree to something and you don't really want to do it? Maybe it's a day out. Maybe it's an extra workload. Maybe it's looking after someone's pet for a week. It could be a night out that you can't really afford, or a concert that's too far away. Whatever the event is, we often feel pressurized to say yes. And if you're doing this out of friendship or kindness, that's okay. But the point I want to make is, it's okay sometimes to say no. It's okay to say no if it's getting in the way of achieving your goals or taking you away from an important task. It's not a bad thing to politely pass. If we're serious about succeeding in life, we're going to have to learn the skill of saying no from time to time. Now, it can be uncomfortable and inconvenient, but we understand to succeed in life, we have to make some sacrifices. After all, achieving our goals and earning success is neither convenient or comfortable. To be brutal, it often feels like it gets in the way of life. It demands sacrifice and dedication to the cause. The skill is to know when to pass and say no. And saying yes is still good. In fact, saying yes can be uncomfortable too. You could be saying yes to a personal development weekend summit or a challenge to read a new book. It could be networking with new people or learning a new skill for a new business. I guess the trick is to know when to say yes and when to say no. But that's a skill we build with experience. And with experience, it gets easier over time. Work on being a better version of you. Now, if there's one constant we can all agree on, we are all in a state of flux. We are always changing. As I explained earlier on, although I'm 50, I feel like I could be 30. But I've definitely changed from the age of 30 over the past 20 years. I would go so far as to say that I've changed over the past month. So as we change and develop as human beings, why don't we focus that change into becoming the better version of ourselves? Well, for example, if you want to be a better reader or a better listener, you need to practice. I wanted to be a better contractor, a better home renovator. So I studied it, I applied myself, and I worked hard to get better. So work at it, apply yourself. If you start acting and thinking a certain way, you will become it. Play the part and walk the walk. If you want to be rich, then behave like the rich. Work hard, learn to value money, invest it instead of spending it, and learn how to grow every single dollar. Play the part. You'll eventually become it, and you'll be a better version of yourself. When you look at the fundamentals like that, it's logical. We just make it complicated. As a side point here, a word of caution. Don't listen to the negativity. Don't let people crack your confidence. Often when we try to improve our lives or better ourselves, some around us notice a change and have nothing supportive to say. You know those people, static in their lives, in their comfort zone, being all comfortable. Don't listen to their comments. If you need to, grow a thick skin. Now, they may say out of some kind of misplaced concern. They sense changes, and they're usually more concerned about themselves than you. I would just smile and thank them for being a friend. Stay on course. Immerse yourself in the journey of bettering yourself and enjoy it. Letting go of the past. I think we've all been told at one point or another to let go of our past, and that makes sense. If we want to make progress and move forward with our lives, we can't be held back by things in our past. But it's not always that simple. I think it's safe to say that most of us are carrying some kind of emotional baggage from our past that influences our present. Now, it could be a range of experiences, how people have treated us in the past and their behaviour towards us, or even a life event. The trick here is not to let it hold you back from improving your situation and moving forward with your life. So how did I do this? Well, it's work in progress, and maybe it's the same for you. I'm still working on myself and letting go of past trauma, but I feel like I've made strides. Now, during my research, some experts have suggested you journal out your thoughts and experiences to come to terms with them. I reflect on my past mistakes and strive to be better by using them to reinforce my forward action. Basically, I learn from my mistakes after critical thought, and I've had some great outcomes from this that really have improved my relationships. By reflecting on my past, I've become more thoughtful, and I've used my improved skills to get a better, more desired outcome. I've also analysed people's reactions to past mistakes, and I've adjusted my behaviour accordingly. By doing this and putting in the extra mile, I've improved my relationships. Now, obviously, we can't change our past, but we can go back and forgive ourselves as long as we take those experiences and learn from them. Learn from your mistakes and turn it into an asset to be a better you. Now, it can be hard work, and in all honesty, it will be hard work. But the alternative is to stay in the past and not learn from our mistakes. So don't let the failure or the mistake of your past be the final word and negatively impact your future. This is a destructive mindset and it serves no one. So work on a strategy to put the past behind you and work on your future. It can take a bit of humility to overcome your challenges, but being humble and grateful leads us nicely into the next chapter. I am so grateful for all the blessings. I am grateful for the happy and content life I have with my beautiful family and the wonderful country that has adopted me. I am also grateful to be able to go to work and to better myself. Now, being grateful is a state of being that brings you peace and serenity. I am constantly reminding myself of all the things I am lucky enough to enjoy. I am even grateful for all the life challenges that push me to be a better version of myself. Being grateful will free you from worry and laziness, and it will encourage you to do better. And being grateful goes hand in hand with being humble. No matter what I achieve in life, I will promise to remain humble. Humble to improve myself and to stay into a learning growth mindset. Humble to help others and to provide value as a mentor where I can. And being humble, I'm not afraid to admit my mistakes so I can learn from them. I know I don't know everything, so I will listen to others. My wife reminds me of that every day, and I am grateful. Gratefulness and humility are great attributes to hold on to as you better yourself. And if you're going to win in life, you need all the great attributes you can get. Involving goals. Like making a financial plan, setting goals is key for direction and progress. It can give you a sense of control of your immediate and long-term future, to know where you're headed and to avoid those expensive scenic routes. Goal setting can be entertaining too. I use food and food treats as rewards for hitting short-term goals. And hitting a big goal, we may reward ourselves with a weekend away. And after doing goal setting for 4 years, I now know that your goals will change and evolve over time. As our mindset changes and adapts to our new financial journey, our goals have become less about material achievement and reward and more about development and appreciation for life. Now, just 2 years ago, one of my goals was to have a house on the water and a boat, as we live very close to one of North America's biggest lakes. Just 2 years later, I can't think of something I would want less. That was my old mindset, looking to upscale my lifestyle and treating myself to a huge liability. These days, I'm far more interested in acquiring investment properties and developing wealth for me and my family. So setting goals is important and they should be relevant to you, but they will evolve over time. And as they do evolve, I say celebrate. That is evidence of your mindset evolving too, and it's evolving to make you wealthy. Discipline or motivation. So once the excitement passes and the hard work begins at winning at life, we need some help. Your goals and a plan will form a backbone of support, while discipline and motivation will pick you up and keep you going. Now, I always used to love motivating myself and listen to motivational speakers to get me up and get me going. But as I get older, or wiser, or both, I prefer the simplicity and the black and white nature of discipline. As I become more disciplined and I build new discipline habits, I find my work life is almost automated. Now, unlike trying to motivate myself in the past, discipline takes hardly any effort at all. Discipline is training your brain to do a task without giving an option to pass on it. Motivation and motivating yourself can take effort every time, whereas discipline takes very little at all. Daniel Walter, author of The Power of Discipline, likens the effect of a little disciplined action on your life to that of a row of dominoes. That a small action of discipline can cascade like a row of dominoes. The ripple effect of that action running through all aspects of your life and compounding the positive outcomes. Life balance or no balance. The work-life balance discussion has been more prevalent in the past 10 or 15 years than ever before in my life. It seems the impact of that balance on people's mental health is a huge topic for discussion. In general, the argument goes, if you're to have good mental health, you need a good work-life balance. The stresses and strains of working, commuting, and dealing with all the preparation for work is having a huge mental health issue on our generation. Now, this may not be popular, but I will ask you to hear me out. I fundamentally disagree with this argument, at least for those who are trying to win at life and trying to build a financial future for them and their families. After all, to achieve something like that the vast majority of people in history have not, must take extraordinary effort. To retire from your job years or decades early and live mortgage-free will take extraordinary effort. These achievements, no doubt, will demand working 6 or 7 days a week, at least for a time. They will demand working evenings and at weekends. A prize that big will accept nothing less than dedication and borderline obsession. And for people that love what they do for work, it's no discussion at all. After all, work is a part of our life. Indeed, Monday to Friday, it takes up the bulk of your time. So for most people, I would argue, you can't split life and work. If the job is affecting your mental health and you hate it, change it. If you're feeling under pressure and stressed, find the source and fix it. In my humble opinion, work-life balance is a myth. If you want something in life, you've got to go after it and go after it with a passion.